Okay. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, I to the book. Yeah, at our level. It's a bit of yeah, something like that. Something like that. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, okay. Got to warm up a little bit. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, that's much better. That's much better. No, actually, I was going to tell you before I go any further in the service, just in case anybody thinks that I'm up here checking scores or whatever it is. So we've moved into what I hope is a new century, and that I have a way to control the volume from my phone. So if you see me messing around with it up here, I promise you I am not doing something untoward, just making sure that you could either hear me or not have to hear me, depending on the circumstances. So, it's all that stuff. I guess we're advancing in that way. So a lot of smechot, a lot of joyful things happening tonight. And first, just to talk about something joyful that happened last week, which means something to some of you, not to everybody. But student Cantor Lauren, who was with us for a couple of years, as many of you know, I officiated her wedding on Sunday. So I'm happy to say, despite all the challenges of signing a marriage license in the state of New Jersey, which is not easy, they're the only place that I know you have to write 4 identical copies. So, all sorts of things, but we got them married and they had a wonderful time and they're very sweet kids. And we will see them at some point. We will see them at some point this summer to celebrate them, but just wanted to let you know that they are officially married. Now let's talk about some of the joyful things. So first of all, you can't see her so easily because she's in the front row, but this wonderful young woman here, Bryn, is going to get her her only Hebrew name tonight is going to be part of our service. And Bryn, as far as I know, in my time here, I've been a rabbi for 9 years here, I don't think we've ever done a naming as part of a Friday night service. So it may have been before my time, but so Bryn, you are a part of history, which is very exciting. And we're just getting to know each other, but you strike me as a very awesome person. So I hope you have an awesome time tonight. And I'm going to try to make some sense out of all this stuff for you and to celebrate with your wonderful family. And really thank you for being here. And also, where are they? Howie and Sherry, I think, are celebrating their 50th anniversary, which is, again, with every one of these amazing anniversaries around here, it gives me a lot of inspirational thinking for my own, may we all be to your point, right, of celebrating your love. So we love you guys, and we wish you nothing but blessings as well. And also, it's, I don't know if it's a simcha of sorts, but our friends Neil and Andrea have some dear friends in town, and we're actually going to invite Andrea and their friend Liz to come up and to light our Shabbat candles now. So Andrea, Liz, you guys want to come on up? Let me give you a little help here. We're on page 120 in our Sidurim, in our prayer books. If you don't have any in front of you, please do check your hand up, and we'll help as we can. Here, you want me to help with that piece? It's what's wrong with the mask?
I say Hashem, that we're okay.
Of course, you can do it as you feel comfortable.
Okay, thank
Don't
you.
worry.
Because I have to do it real Shabbat.
So I'm gonna let you do it, 'cause
No, you go ahead. We'll do it together. Okay.
Okay. You're all
Okay.
set.
Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. We heard a lot of good amens there. Okay. All right. I also forgot one other really great simcha, which is tonight, for those that didn't know, but those that know, our first potluck that we will be able to celebrate together for the first time in over 3 years, which is a pretty remarkable thing. So we're very excited for that as well. And the only bummer for tonight is, as you can see, Cantor Kevin not here tonight. He unfortunately came down with bronchitis, so we're going to wish him. I know. You know, you don't have to believe it. He's a very trustworthy guy. No, he's been working very hard, and we'll wish him a speedy recovery. So, you know, those that were looking forward to singing a little bit after potluck, I promise I'm going to do my very best to hold that tune. But in any case, so let's get started with our service. We'll turn to page 130 at the very top of the page. And as always, I ask you, when we don't have Cantor here, helping me sing, always appreciated. So page 130. Lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena ladonai. Lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betodaham. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena ladonai. Lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena, lechu ner hanena ladonai. We're now on page 131, Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato. We'll turn now to page 132, Or Zarua, which is the last Hebrew paragraph at the bottom of the page. Or Zarua lahatzadik, ulehishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua lahatzadik, ulehishrei lev simcha. Simechu tzadikim b'Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. Simechu tzadikim b'Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. We're now on page 134 at the very top. Zamru ladonai bechinor, bechinor bekol zimra, bachatzotzrot vekol shofar, ahariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, yiram hayamum lo. Tebel veyoshveva, neharot yimchahu chaf yachad, harim yiraneinu, lifnei Adonai kiva, lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel betzedek. Ve'amim mesharim, Yiram hayam umloo, Tebehel veyoshveva, Neharot imchahu chaf yachad, Harim Yiraneinu. We're now on page 135, the last Hebrew paragraph in the middle of the page. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu veishtachavu lehar kodsho. Bryn, you got to come back and visit more. Bring a good energy to the room. Everybody was clapping because you were clapping. All right? Next time you're going to help me lead the service for the whole way, okay? Sound good? Think it over. Just a thought. Okay. Okay, we're going to turn now to Lachadodi on page 138. It's a little tougher without Kevin here, but let's try the full package here, the normal thing. We'll see how far we go. All right. Page 138, very top. Okay, let's see. Lechadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumi tzei mitoch hafecha, rav lach shemet b'emek habacha, vehu yachamol alayich chemla. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitna'ari me'afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifartechami, ahalihad ben Yishai betalachmi, korva el nafshi ge'ala. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Now we do the melody shift part. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, vod Adonai, alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי בך יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה הרעתי לה עליך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו לשמסו שוסייך ורחקו כל מבעלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמסוס חתן הקלה עליך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תעריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה עליך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה עליך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה יאי לי 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 יאי לה 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לה 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 לי 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 לה 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 יאי לה 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 יא לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה יאי לי 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 יאי לה 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לה 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 יאי לי 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 יא לה 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 יאי לה 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 יא לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. I was told that Bryn likes to dance. I see now. Very true. Very good. Please be seated. Bryn, excellent job. Okay? People weren't dancing until you got in the water there, so to speak. So that's I'll tell you a story about that another time. That's great. We're on page 140, Tzadik Katamar, which is the Hebrew just in the middle of the page where it indents. Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Keres Bavanon Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseba Deshenim Verhananim Yehu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Havlata Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144. We'll rise in body or spirit. Yitkadal veyitkadash shemei Rabbah Ba'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala uvizman kariv heimeru Amen. Yehesh me Rabbah mevarach La'alam li'almei halmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran behalma veimeru. Amen. Remain standing for the Baruch Hu on page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Please be seated. We'll turn now to page 149. We'll read together in English at the very top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdihil ben yom uvein lahaila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, amariv arahavim. We'll turn now to page 150. We'll read together in English at the bottom of the page. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Ki ehem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, v'hem nege yomam v'layla, v'avatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please join me on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam lebanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shiftecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shochbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot beinenecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai veitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. We'll turn together to page 157, and we'll read together in English at the very top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. As we turn to page 158. Yabai bye bim 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 bam, yabai bye bim bam, yabai bye bim 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 bam, yabai bye bim bam, yai bye ba 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 ba, yabai bye bim bam, yai bye ba 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 ba, yabai bye bim bam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh. Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Yabai bye bim 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 bam, Yabai bye bim bam, Yabai bye bim 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 bam, Yabai bye bim bam, Yai bye ba 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 bye, Yabai bye bim bam, Yai bye ba 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 bye, Yabai bye bim bam. Malchutecha ra'u panecha, bokeam lifnei Moshe Miriam zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, uglo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Ashkivenu, page 160. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeiteinu, uvoeinu, lechayim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu Shomreinu lechayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. We turn to Vishamru on top of page 162. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam, Einai beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, Uvayom HaShevi'i Shabbat, Shabbat Ma'inafash. Invite us now to rise in body or spirit. We will begin the Amidah together on page 164. From that point on, we'll continue silently. As always, please go at your own pace, and if at the end you're still standing, you may be seated. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Oseh shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. I'm with you, David. I would keep going. But you know what? When we get downstairs, when we're singing, we're going to come back to that for sure. We're going to get to the B part. So we're going to turn our attention and our pages now to page 371 as we think about those in our lives who are in need of healing. I'll begin by thinking of those in our community who we're praying for tonight. Benti Tepper, Allison Luckman, Malka Bat Chaya Sura, Michael Klinghoffer, Ame and Warren Cass, Rivka Bat Rachel, Leah Bat Naomi, Gedalia Ben Sylvia, Lorraine Danis, David Dowling, Sibia Devora Bat Francis, Muriel Hirsch, Michelle Sawicki, Francis Kirschman, Shelley Newmark, Diane Axelrod, Gabriella Spicer, Barbara Kushner, David Kyle Klopman, Lorraine Davis, Sue Wartor, Morris Kramer, Jeffrey Miller, Devora Batsima, Kim Birnbaum, Hilda Mintz, Deborah Block-Kroll, Sylvia Orn, Rebecca Rubin, Donna Rivka Bat Chana Shira, Moshe Ben Yosef, Tikva Bat Avram, Jake Curie, Farah Sherwin, Barbara Schwab, Alan Zaretsky, Steve Roberts, Peter Cohn, Toby Spitz, Gail Gambino, Aaron Borbach, Carol Javna, Hope London, Ann Baker, and Jeffrey Schwartz. In addition to those names that we just read, we'll invite those that are watching at home to add names as well. And for those that are with us in the room, we've got a nice big crowd tonight, so it might take us a little bit. But let's start on this side of the room, and then we'll work to here and then back. And it just, main idea is if you have names to share, just raise a hand so I don't lose anybody. We'll start from the back there, June. We'll come to the front.
Diane Schwartz, Hilda Mintz, Mark Newmark, Art Williams, Billy, Vivian Trevis, Mario, Sadie Danziger, Judy Lipton, Kevin Major, Stephanie Robinson, and Sarah Major.
Fred Friedman, Dave Robinson, Paul Greenfield, Tom Quains.
Nancy Schwartz. Mike Scott.
We'll join together now on page 371, just in the middle of the page. Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. So, as I mentioned it earlier, if you didn't hear it at the beginning, as part of tonight's service, we're going to give, not so long from now, Bryn, I promise. Bryn is going to receive a Hebrew name. And as I said, last week we had our first Shabbat morning baby naming in our space right here. We're now going to have our first Friday night naming, and certainly in my time, which is very exciting. But, Bryn, you're just going to have to endure me for a couple of minutes because I want to teach a little bit of Torah, which I hope is going to relate to you, and I hope to all of us in some form or the other. So tomorrow morning, we're reading a double portion, Chukat and Balak. So Balak usually is on its own. It's a whole self-contained, really interesting narrative of which we're going to get into much greater depth tomorrow as part of our Women's Torah Commentary Torah study led by Fran Gottfried. But I want to talk a little bit earlier before we get to that and what goes on in Chukat. And in Chukat, actually, one of the sadder moments in our history. We lose in this week's Torah portion one of the great leaders of our people, of the prophetess Miriam. So Miriam, for many of us, we know or we think we know. Many of us don't necessarily even know, though, that she is referred to as a Nevi'ah, as a prophetess. But she is more than the sister of Aaron and Moses. She is one of the troika, one of the essential three. Without Miriam, none of us are here. Our ancestors never make it to the land of Israel. None of the other stuff happens. None of it happens without Miriam. Miriam is one of, if not really, the most important in this story. And as sadly the case many times, she is not always appreciated in her lifetime for what she has done, but she is immediately understood for how important she was when she passes. As the Torah teaches us, she passes away, and immediately afterwards, the people rebel. So why is it that they are rebelling? Because there is no water. So what does this have to do with Miriam? It's because the tradition teaches us that Miriam actually was the source of water for them in the desert. When they were wandering around, and for anybody who's ever had the experience of being in the Sinai Desert, in the real Sinai Desert, not along the coast, not in Sharm el-Sheikh, but really in the desert, I will tell you, there is nothing, I mean nothing, a casual Bedouin tent, and that is it. There is nothing even resembling water. And if anybody's ever been in the real experience of being thirsty, of really understanding what it means, I'm not talking about Yom Kippur, I'm talking about really understand what that means in the desert, you can start to conceive of just how important Miriam is. But I want to think of it a little bit beyond just the physical need that she is fulfilling by this magical water that follows them. And I should say, it is magical. According to the teachings of the Midrash, there are a few things that were created before creation even really began. Okay, 10 things according. One of those 10 things is the well of Miriam that magically followed them and provided water when they needed it. But I want us to think about this a little bit more broadly, and this is where hopefully, Bryn, this comes into you and to all of us. When we think about at a metaphorical level, okay, what water means in the desert and what Miriam did in providing that water is to think of what it means to be in a place that is devoid of something that everybody needs, and yet you cannot find it. To be the single source of finding that is a deeply profound thing. And yet, what do you hear from Miriam? No boasting, no bragging, no power, hungry, no this, no that. Almost always, Miriam is there when needed. When there is really a call for water, when things are about to get out of control, she is there. Sometimes behind the scenes, sometimes in the Torah text itself, oftentimes in the Midrash in deeper and more powerful ways. But without Miriam, as I said, they do not survive. Our people do not survive. In some ways, each of us is in a position at some point in our life of being a Miriam. When we are looking around at the world that is desperately in search of something and we are in possession of it. And I'm not talking about physical things, right? Love, compassion, a listening ear, a thoughtful response, a hug. When somebody is in desperate need of something that they cannot find anywhere else, and you are the source of that thing, you embody the teachings of Miriam. You embody the prophetic nature of her spirit. You embody the best of what our people are able to produce. And Miriam, again, in what she does, is countercultural in so many ways. Okay, she is not known, and there are many, many, many powerful, physically powerful women in the Torah, many who fight alongside men. There is that. That's not Miriam's strength. Miriam's strength is her constancy. It is her faith, and it is her belief in her people and her family. And it is, again, the ability to see what is not obvious to others and find it and to bring it forth. This is a remarkable teaching of a remarkable woman in our tradition, who sadly, for various reasons, has not gotten, throughout at least some of our history, I think, the credit that she deserves, and rightfully so. And it is a sad reality that for our ancestors in the desert, they don't really comprehend who she was and what she meant to them until after she is gone. And so our charge tonight, our thinking tonight, the place for all of us to stretch a little bit beyond, is to not wait, right? First of all, if you have a Miriam in your life, one form or the other, okay, celebrate that person. Let them know who they are. Okay, and if you're in the position of being a Miriam, right, don't lose sight of just how important that job is, how important that role is, how important you are to other people. You know, that same image, as I said, of being in the desert and looking around and seeing nothing, it's one of the most terrifying experiences a human being can have. To provide even a little bit of hope in that kind of environment, right, a little bit of a sense that things are going to be okay, a little bit of that needed just peace that we need to move that one step further forward. These are the things that truly matter. These are the things that as we grow, Bryn, to try to be like, right? And you're lucky that you come from this wonderful family. Your mother, Emily, here is a wonderful person. Your grandmother here, Sherry, is a wonderful person. Norm, you go, Grandpa, what are you guys in the household? Mommy, Poppy, Grandma, Grandpa? Say that one more time. Baba, Robert, Papa Bear, right? All of you together. Bryn, okay? You are the source of their joy and their celebration, but you also can draw inspiration from them, things to do and things to be when you grow up. And it's also important to know that, Bryn, when you get your Hebrew name, you're the only one with that Hebrew name. It is unique to you. But part of what happens when you get a Hebrew name is that you're tied to a really, really ancient history, a long time, especially a very wonderful, thoughtful, powerful Jewish women. Okay, so when you get your name, you are going to add to them. You're going to add to our people. You're going to help us to a different future. You're going to be our leader. You think you can handle that, Bryn? Yeah, that's exact. No hesitation, because that's who you are. So, Bryn, I want to invite you up now, if you wouldn't mind. We talked about this before. You feel like okay coming up here to get your name? Okay, good. And we asked if Bryn wanted everybody to come up. She said no. She wants just to come up on her own. So, good. Can everybody see Bryn? Bryn, you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Okay, very cute. You say Shabbat Shalom? Okay, too much. So, Bryn, I'm going to say a few things to you in Hebrew, okay? But then, Sherry, Emily, do you want to come up and explain the naming a little bit more than it coming from me? I feel like it may make more sense, okay? So, all right, so at this point, Emily, Norm, you want to come up? Everybody come up. Come on. I know she said not to, but come on up. It's a big beamer. Come on up. Make yourselves comfortable. Okay. So first we're going to give you this beautiful name, and then we're going to hear a little bit about where it comes from and why it's so important, because I suspect it's going to be a little bit related to our conversation around who we come from and who we are meant to be. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Kayam et hayalda hazot, that is you. Ve'ikra shema b'Yisrael, viva bat yasha. Zot hakatana gedola tihyeh, kishem shenichnasa labrit, ken tikanes leTorah ulechupa ulemasim tovim. And this means more or less, Bryn, I'll get that more on your level. Okay? Our God, the God of our mothers and our fathers, we ask that you sustain this beautiful child through her family's loving care, and let her be known amongst our people Israel by the name Viva Bat Yasha. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve our people and all humankind. May her family, in her growth of body and soul, rejoice. And may your life, Bryn, be filled with Torah, the blessing of learning and community, Chuppah, a loving relationship worthy of God's blessing, and Ma'asim Tovim, the pursuit of good deeds. And together we say, Amen. Simen tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov u'simen tov, simen tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov u'simen tov, simen tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov u'simen tov. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, yehei lanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Ulecho Israel. Yehi lanu, ulechol Israel. Bryn, you did great. Okay. I know that was a little bit much. Sherry, you want to tell us 2 seconds, just a little bit about, and Emily, you want to jump in?
Well, actually, Emily, I think, should talk. Bryn was named for my mother, who was Emily's grandmother, who was a very, very strong Miriam in our family. And Emily actually gave this, the eulogy at my mother's funeral, and it was amazing. And she spoke about how unique a grandmother my mother was. And if Emily wants to say a few things.
I don't have the eulogy in front of me, but it's just important. Bryn's middle name was Viola after
And
Grandma Viola, so this is very significant and important to us today. And we're glad to share it with all of you. So thank you.
And we just hope that she has the strength
Yes.
that the woman that she's named after had.
I think we can feel pretty confident about that. Even if we didn't know Viola, I feel like we can feel pretty confident.
She didn't dance as much.
Well, again, that's why we add new things. We add new things. So I want to give you one last blessing, and I want to invite everybody here to add your blessings to my blessing. Okay, and I want all you guys to get nice and close. Okay, nice and close. Yisimech Elohim kasara karivka karachel uchlea. Yevarchech Adonai v'yishmarech. Ye'er Adonai panav elayich v'chunaich. Yisa Adonai panav elayich v'seim lach shalom. And we say to you, Bryn, may you be like your foremothers, those that came before you, those that give you blessings from above and from history. But may you also remember that you are just as important in all this. You get your own blessing, and your blessing is that God will be with you and guard you. God will be a source of comfort for you, and no matter where you go, Bryn, God will be a source of peace to you and through you to others. And for all of that, we wish you Mazal Tov and celebration, and to all of you, we thank you for being a part of our history here at the temple. And Bryn, many blessings to you, and you get to eat some yummy stuff coming up, I promise, very soon. All right, Mazal Tov, guys. Congratulations. Bryn, thanks so much for coming up and helping. You did great. And you can moonwalk. That's very impressive. Very impressive for a child. Excellent. So we'll turn to page 586 now. We'll rise. And again, page 586 at the very bottom of the page, Aleinu l'shabeach. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot adama, shelo samach elkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. I ask those in mourning, those observing yahrzeit, to please remain standing. Everyone else may be seated at this time. We think of those who passed in our community in recent months. Bert Bitterman, Morty Schwatzky, Beverly Deshevsky, Sandy Greenwald, Dorothy Klein, David Lieberman, Norma Polsek, Marvin Schreier, Sandy Slip, Barbara Strasser, David Weinstein, Rita Weitzman, and Yael Zerdar. We also mark the yahrzeits that occurred during the last week for Donald Abrams, Sophie Benzener, Frank Burke, Jean Cohen, Ruth Raff Cooper, George Davis, Harold Edelman, Joseph Egelfeld, Stephen Garson, Francis Ginsberg, Irving Goldenson, Morris Goodstadt, Viola Grant, M.L. Hart, Springa Heller, Samuel Katz, Pauline Levy, Benjamin Levitman, Milton Neustadter, Max Raich, Hiram Rossick, Stuart Sack, Susan Sackner, Max Schwartz, Ed Silverberg, Blanche Sklar, Rita Sandra Snyder, and Pearl Tempowski. In addition to those names that we just read, is anyone else saying Kaddish for anyone that we did not mention? Invite the mourners to join with me on page 598, and if it's your custom, to rise as well. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'b'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Okay, please be seated. And really, again, Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And Shabbat Shalom, especially to Bryn. She's off to go eat something, I am sure. And Sherry, Norm, very, very happy to really appreciate you guys bringing this wonderful simcha into our space and for sponsoring our oneg, which will lead into our potluck this evening. So again, we hope those that are with us expecting potluck, we are going to go downstairs. We have this wonderful thing. It's all downstairs. Some of you haven't even seen it yet. And we're going to go have a great time. We're going to eat together. We're going to sing some songs. Even though we don't have Cantor Kemen, we're still going to sing. We're going to bench for the first time in like 3 years, which is great, which is really wonderful. And Howie and Sherry, again, Mazal Tov to you. 50 years is a pretty remarkable thing. So he tells me you guys have somewhere you're going, but we're going to give you a big collective hug in this moment and a lot of blessings. Another 50 years at least, just keep rolling, man. It's great. We really, Mazal Tov to all of you. It's great to see everybody. Also, this really makes the rabbi very, very happy. A few important announcements before we do Kiddush and we go downstairs. Tomorrow services begin at 10 o'clock. You can join us here. I hope you'll join us here at the temple. If you're watching from home, you can watch as well. Our Torah study this week is our Torah study using the Torah, a women's commentary, facilitated by our very own Francis Gottfried and a Dr. Fran Gottfried, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Ruth? Fran is a doctor, yes? So Dr. Fran Gottfried, we should be, understanding. So it's a great opportunity to learn with a great, great teacher. We welcome everybody. Again, that's 12 o'clock tomorrow following services. Also, a reminder, the second official Hamish Havdalah, June 8th, 6:30. I heard the first one went great. So if you didn't go the first time around, hopefully you can make it for the second time around. If you did go, wait, raise a hand. If you went last week for Hamish Havdalah, raise your hand. Good, so you got lots of people in the room. Ask them about it if you're curious, but I heard it was really wonderful. Speaking of another wonderful thing, it's July 22nd. This will be, I think, our third or fourth annual Havdalah Harbor Cruise, which has limited space. It's this great opportunity for those that have been on it the last few years, one of the great highlights now of our summer. Even if you're not a seafaring person like your rabbi, I promise, we go, we make it back. Everything is fine. No, it's a great time and a great chance to talk to and to sing with and to have a good time with people. And it's a great, great, really wonderful boat as well. Yacht, boat. Somebody that knows about boating, Roger, to tell me I always feel like I'm saying I'm insulting things to boating people without intending it. So I don't want to do that. Okay, thank you especially to Andrea Fagan. She's already downstairs getting things ready for our potluck, but she works very hard on this, and we appreciate all of her work. We appreciate everybody who brought some food for us to eat. And as I said, we'll get a chance to do a little singing afterwards. Just a reminder that due to the 4th of July, temple's closed on Monday, so there's no minute mitzvah, there's no social justice, and the 4th itself is closed as well. Also, Tuesday is closed, but I believe we're also closed on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Occasionally, your staff and rabbis do need some breaks. Occasionally, every once in a while. Yes. Starting next week, our temple office will actually be in the temple, which is another amazing thing. So if you're looking for us, our time at the Old Whalers Church is really actually coming to an official close. So, yes, Mazel Tov, again, we will miss being there, but that's really, again, hard work of Josie and Bob and Shelley and all sorts of people that have really been working behind the scenes to make it happen. Okay, lastly, let's see, Wednesday, Ari Weller's class will meet upstairs. Also, the July calendar, we have copies here for anybody that wants them. A bunch of great new classes coming up in July, so pay attention. All right, I'm going to stop talking because you all look very hungry. Yes, okay, July 9th. July 9th for sure. If you haven't received your invitations again, our Chanukah Bayit, our dedication of our new home, Sunday, July 9th. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please find me, find Neil afterwards. Definitely want you to know. Marcia, thank you very much for solitude. Great. Remember, there used to be a wall here. This wasn't so possible. You know, we're moving up. Yeah, exactly. We need a stand. Okay. We need some things. That's all right. It's always good to have a few things that you need. So we're going to turn now to page 123. We'll save our final singing. Actually, no, I take that back. Always been our tradition around American holidays that we sing God Bless America as our closing song. I think we shouldn't stop that. Page 680, we can rise again, body or spirit. You can join with me if you know it. Page 680. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Kiddush is on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mohorei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabahat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בהנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, לשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Chaim. All right. And we're not just using any challah thing here. This was actually given to the congregation by Cantor Lauren when she left. And we haven't had a chance to use it, so it's a nice way of bringing that connection. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. If you don't know where the downstairs is, follow somebody who knows. Probably the best idea. You're the nicest person ever.
I think I'm supposed to take this in so people can take
That
sprouts.
sounds like a good plan. Whatever Shelly says, she's in charge. I just work here. That's all. Shabbat shalom to you. Great to see you too. We'll see you soon.